Republican Party to wake up.
Strong words from GOP presidential candidate and Congressman Thaddeus McCotter about the division between the Republican Party, possibly establishment, if you want to phrase it that way, and the Tea Party freshmen. So can both sides work together to come to a final deal? Joining us now are Tea Party Patriots co-founder Jenny Beth Martin and also Republican Congressman Duncan Hunter. Thank you both for being here today.
Thanks for having us.
All right, Jenny Beth, how do you respond to Thaddeus McCotter's call that the Tea Party, quote, grow up?
Well, you know, he's implying that the Tea Party is part of the Republican Party, and we've never said that we were. We promised back in October and November of last year that we're going to hold both sides accountable and hold their feet to the fire, and that's what we're doing. $14 trillion in debt, it's too much, and it's time to stop the overspending.
And Congressman, for those who are taking a hard line and they're sticking to the pledge that they made and what they ran and were elected on, is it complicating the job in trying to find a compromise in Washington, or do you think there's room for those viewpoints?
There is room for all viewpoints. My whole thing with this is to stay on offense, keep hooking and jabbing, keep fighting, hit these guys every way that we can, and that's what we're doing. That's what Boehner's deal does. Boehner's deal cuts. It does not raise taxes. It keeps us on offense. It boxes Obama in, and that's what I want to do. I was in the United States Marine Corps, and I believe in doing something. Even if you have 80% of your solution, you never have 100%. You always make decisions on 80%, 70%. I want to stay on offense, and I want to keep fighting, and I want to take it back to them again and again, and keep cutting, keep on rolling with this thing. I like it.
All right. Well, Jenny Beth, let me ask you, what are your specific concerns or problems, or do you have them with the most recently passed Boehner bill late on Friday? What are your objections? Did you have problems with Tea Party members or those who say they stand with the Tea Party voting for that particular measure?
Well, our stance with Tea Party Patriots all along has been not to raise the debt ceiling, and we understand the political reality, but we feel like somebody has to stand up for principle, and it's time to get the spending under control. Boehner's plan is making cuts for 10 years into the future. We need cuts right now. We spend $4.4 billion a day that is in borrowed money, and we can't keep doing that.
Is it realistic, though, to expect this country and our government to continue operating without raising the debt ceiling as they've done dozens of times before?
I understand the need for it. I understand why they're so concerned about it. The August 2nd deadline has been manufactured. There's still money coming in, so they can continue to pay the bills. It's very frustrating that they're not, if you can't find something in $4.4 billion a day, which is enough to build 2.5 space shuttles to cut, then when are you ever going to be able to find something to cut?
Congressman, can you work with that?
Yeah. Republicans are not going to cut Medicare. We're not going to cut Social Security. We want to sustain the way of life that we have in this country. We don't want to go backwards. We don't want to take away the safety nets. We want to keep things basically so that people have something to fall back on. We passed a balanced budget amendment twice now. That's how you save this nation. You can only spend what you bring in. We aren't going to cut $2 trillion next year. It's not going to happen. And we aren't going to cut defense. There are places where we're not going to move on, but what we have to do is pass that balanced budget amendment. And the American people, on your polls, over 70% support a balanced budget amendment. That's how we do this. But we got to keep fighting in the meantime until we get support to do that from the American people, pushing on their members of Congress and these senators who seem like they just don't know what's going on. But I think there is room for everybody. You had 22 no's. That's okay to have 22 no's because this thing passed and we're staying on offense. Doing nothing is not an option. We got to stay on offense.
Well, the two of you sound like you do have some common ground for agreement. Thank you both for joining us today. We appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
All right, we want to take you now live to the Senate floor. We understand it's getting a little bit heated between Senator John McCain and also Senator